reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Let's get started! We are currently on page 30. Because I did magic. Aha! Roared Uncle Vernon, slamming his fist down on top of the fridge, which sprang open. Several of Dudley's low-fat snacks toppled out and burst on the floor. So you admit it. What did you do to Dudley? Nothing, said Harry, slightly less calmly. That wasn't me. Was, muttered Dudley unexpectedly, and Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia instantly made flapping gestures at Harry to quiet him, while they both bent low over Dudley. Go on, son, said Uncle Vernon. What did he do? Tell us, darling, whispered Aunt Petunia. Pointed his wand at me, Dudley mumbled. Yeah, I did, but I didn't use... Harry began angrily, but... Shut up! Roared Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia in unison. Go on, son, repeated Uncle Vernon, mustache blowing about furiously. All dark, Dudley said hoarsely, shuddering. Everything dark. And then I heard things inside my head. Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia exchanged looks of utter horror. If their least favorite thing in the world was magic, closely followed by neighbors who cheated more than they did on the hosepipe ban, people who heard voices were definitely in the bottom 10. They obviously thought Dudley was losing his mind. What sort of things did you hear, Popkin? Breathed Aunt Petunia, a very white-faced with tears in her eyes. But Dudley seemed incapable of saying. He shuddered again and shook his large blonde head, and despite the sense of numb dread that had settled on Harry since the arrival of the first owl, he felt certain curiosity. Dementors caused a person to relive the worst moments of their life. What would spoiled, pampered, bleeding Dudley have been forced to hear? How come you fell over, son? Said Uncle Vernon in an unnaturally quiet voice, the kind of voice he would adopt at the bedside of a very ill person. Tripped, said Dudley shakily, and then he gestured at his massive chest. Harry understood. Dudley was remembering the clammy cold that had filled the lungs as hope and happiness were sucked out of him. Horrible, croaked Dudley. Cold, really cold. Okay, said Uncle Vernon in a voice of forced calm, while Aunt Petunia laid an anxious hand on Dudley's forehead to feel his temperature. What happened then, Dudders? Felt as if you'd never be happy again, Harry supplied dully. Yes, Dudley whispered, still trembling. So, said Uncle Vernon, was restored to full and considerable volume as he straightened up. So you put some crackpot spell on my son so he'd hear voices and believe he was doomed to misery or something, did you? How many times do I have to tell you, said Harry, temper and voice rising together. It wasn't me. It was a couple of Dementors. A couple of... What's this codswallop? Dementors, said Harry slowly and clearly. 2 of them. And what the ruddy hell are Dementors? They guard the wizard prison Azkaban, said Aunt Petunia. The two seconds ringing silence followed these words, and the Aunt Petunia clapped her hands over her mouth as though she had let slip a disgusting swear word. Uncle Vernon was goggling at her. Harry's brain reeled. Mrs. Fig was one thing, but Aunt Petunia? How do you know that? He asked her, astonished. Aunt Petunia looked quite appalled with herself. She glanced at Uncle Vernon in fearful apology, then lowered her hand slightly to reveal her horsey teeth. I heard that awful boy telling her about them years ago, she said jerkily. If you mean my mom and dad, why don't you use their names? Said Harry loudly. But Aunt Petunia ignored him. She seemed horribly flustered. Harry was stunned. Except for one outburst years ago in the course of which Aunt Petunia had screamed that Harry's mother had been a freak, he had never heard her mention her sister. He was astounded that she had remembered this scrap of information about the magical world for so long, when she usually put all her energies into pretending it didn't exist. Uncle Vernon opened his mouth, closed it again, opened it once more, shut it, then, apparently struggling to remember how to talk, opened it for a third time and croaked, So they actually exist, do they? Dementi was it? Aunt Petunia nodded. Uncle Vernon looked from Aunt Petunia to Dudley to Harry as if hoping someone was going to shout, April Fools! When nobody did, he opened his mouth yet again, but was spared the struggle to find more words by the arrival of a third owl of the evening, which zoomed through the still open window like a feathery cannonball and landed with a clatter on the kitchen table, causing all three of the Dursleys to jump with fright. Harry tore a second official-looking envelope from the owl's beak and ripped it open as the owls swooped back out into the night. Enough effing owls, muttered Uncle Vernon distractedly, stomping over to the window and slamming it shut again. Dear Mr. Potter, further to our letter of approximately 22 minutes ago, the Ministry of Magic has revised its decision to destroy your wand forthwith. You may retain your wand until your disciplinary hearing on 12th August, at which time an official decision will be taken. Following discussions with the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, the ministry has agreed that the question of your expulsion will also be decided at that time. You should therefore consider yourself suspended from school pending further inquiries. With best wishes, yours sincerely, Mafalda Hopkin. In proper use of Magic Office, Ministry of Magic. Harry read this letter through 3 times in quick succession. The miserable knot in his chest loosened slightly at the thought that he was not definitely expelled. Though his fears were by no means banished, everything seemed to hang on the hearing of the 12th of August. Well, said Uncle Vernon, recalling Harry to his surroundings. What now? Have they sentenced you to anything? Do your law have a death penalty? He added as a hopeful afterthought. I've got to go to a hearing, said Harry. And they'll sentence you there? I suppose so. I won't give up hope, then, said Uncle Vernon nastily. Well, if that's all, said Harry, getting to his feet. He was desperate to be alone, to think, perhaps to send a letter to Ron, Hermione, or Cyrus. No, and Ruddy Well is not all, bellowed Uncle Vernon. Sit back down. What now? Said Harry impatiently. Dudley, roared Uncle Vernon. I want to know exactly what happened to my son. Fine, yelled Harry. In his temper, red and gold sparks shot out of the end of his wand, still clutched in his hands. All 3 Dursleys flinched, looking terrified. Dudley and I were in the alleyway between Magnolia Crescent and Wisteria Walk, said Harry, speaking fast, fighting to control his temper. Dudley thought he'd be smart with me. I pulled out my wand but didn't use it. The 2 Dementors turned up. But what are Dementoids? Asked Uncle Vernon furiously. What do they do? I told you. They suck all the happiness out of you, said Harry. And if they get the chance, they kiss you. Kiss you? Said Uncle Vernon, his eyes popping slightly. Kiss you? It's what they call them when they suck the soul out of your mouth. Aunt Petunia uttered a soft scream. His soul? They didn't take... He still got his... She seized Julie by the shoulders and shook him, as though testing to see whether she could hear his soul rattling around inside him. Of course they didn't get his soul. You know they had, said Harry, exasperated. Fought him off, did you, son? Said Uncle Vernon loudly, with the appearance of a man struggling to bring the conversation back onto a plane he understood. Gave him the old 1-2, did you? You can't give the Dementor the old 1-2, said Harry, through clenched teeth. Why is he all right, then? Blustered Uncle Vernon. And why isn't it all empty, then? Because I used a Patronus, whoosh, with the clattering of whirring of rings and a soft fall of dust, a 4th owl came shooting out of the kitchen fireplace. Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to read page 35. Bookmark, close. Peace out.